Welcome back to Everything Whiskey. I'm Callum.
I'm Sam.
And today we're scraping the bottom of the barrel with Kentucky Gold.
Good fun. Good. Well done. Alright, yeah, Kentucky Gold. 74 proof. This brought something up. We bought it because we're like, look, we've been spending a lot lately. Let's just try and find something budgety, which is fine because budget doesn't always mean bad. And then we found this one, 74 proof, 37%, and it's a bourbon. And that was something I wanted to kind of like talk about for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not like something that takes long to talk about, but it's something that like I have seen and questioned for a while. So this is a straight Kentucky bourbon. It's bottled in Kentucky by a quality controlled distilling company. Now this is a product of Heaven Hill. Massive company, distillery. They do things like Evan Williams and stuff like that, some of the world's biggest bourbons. So this is a product of them. The whole I'll pour some. Yeah. The whole kind of thing about bourbon is legally to be sold in America, bourbon has to be can't be sold at any lower than 40%. But that's not the same in Australia. So you would think that if it doesn't restrict distilleries and companies to make bourbon in America under 40% for the purpose of selling outside of America.
That was always my problem.
It's kind of a little loophole-y thing to get even more product out. Get the most money out of your product.
I thought I had to leave America.
Yeah, so did I. I thought if they're making it and they want to call it bourbon, then it has to be bourbon guidelines. But apparently if it's for the purpose of solely being sold outside, so I'm assuming either Kentucky Gold is 40% in America or it doesn't exist in America and it's made for the purpose of Australian
Also
market.
The other thing that I think might be helpful, this is charcoal filtered.
Yeah.
Which I thought meant it was Tennessee whiskey, but apparently that's not the case.
No, it has to be a particular type of wood. I think it's like maple wood to be Tennessee whiskey. But also, I don't think that's a problem.
Well, I mean, what Jack Daniels, does that say anything over there? That's Tennessee whiskey, because that's charcoal filtered, but I don't know. Because that's what I thought. I thought just charcoal filtered meant Tennessee whiskey. I didn't know that it had to be a specific wood or something like that.
Yeah, sugar maple.
Sugar maple. Yeah. So that's where it is. Do these guys say what they are? Or is it just charcoal? Any old charcoal will do for these guys.
Yeah, so for the Lincoln County process is the legal definition, I guess, for the process of charcoal filtering with maple wood. And that's what allows you to have Tennessee whiskey. But I don't know what it means if like does it mean that another company cannot filter with maple wood that isn't from Tennessee?
No.
Are they allowed to do it and just be called bourbon, or are they
Let us know.
allowed? Yeah, like are they not? Yeah, another thing to research. America's got the strictest guidelines, but also the most complicated. But I don't hate it at all because it makes it harder for people to fool you. Australia's minimum for spirits and stuff like that. So spirits like for whiskies, basically, we'll just stick with whiskies, is 37%.
So that makes sense why at work I've got Jim Beams that are at 37% and some are at 40%.
Alright, exactly. I'm putting some more in because it's light.
I actually enjoy this nose. It's very earthy and grassy.
It's just... It smells like just typical bourbon, not as much sweetness.
There's some corn sweetness though, like definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely corn sweetness, but not like when you compare it to some other bourbons. Like this nose is thin. It is like
thin and light nose.
It smells cool. It smells cold. I'm getting.
This smells like
green grass, tons of fresh grass and hay.
Bluegrass. It smells like the Bluegrass Aldi brand bourbon.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like bluegrass.
No.
Like,
it smells like the Bluegrass.
Just another really. Was that 37? It was, wasn't it? That was 37%.
We'll link it up above so you can go watch that.
Yeah, that was sold at Aldi.
Yeah, it's an Aldi specific brand.
Yeah.
So they only sell it at Aldi.
Yeah, and only in Australia because it's under 40%.
Actually, kind of enjoy this nose, which is a bit odd.
Oh, it's not offensive whatsoever. It's very simple. I'm getting like simple sweetness, but very light sweetness, kind of like a musty corn dust.
Corn dust, yeah.
Definitely like wet hay and grass, earthy notes. I'm not getting cherry. I'm not getting.
No, there's none of that.
I'm getting like you could call the grassy hay notes kind of the wood, the barrel impact. It kind of fits in there, but not in a way that I'm like, ooh, that's barrel bitterness kind of thing.
I really want to taste this. Yo.
Look, the flavor's not bad, but man, is it thin. It just disappears.
It's like drop off, instant drop off.
Like when you get.
Actually, it's a little bit sweet. It's just sweetness at the end.
It's got flavour, but
yeah, but like the finish is just sweet.
When you get a bourbon that's a bit higher proof, I'm gonna say like 46 and above
to 50,
or just above. Like you get this much more.
Rich.
You just get this. It's so much more rich. It's just like it clings to your mouth. The flavour remains. It's like instead of.
But I mean that's the alcohol as well, isn't it? The alcohol helps it to cling.
Oh yeah, like the alcohol, you definitely feel that heat, that burn. But it helps densifies the flavour. They become more dense, more dramatic. Yeah. So like instead of it, this kind of tastes like a. Like there's water in it, which obviously there's water in it.
Yeah.
But as in like
it tastes like watered down.
Watery. It tastes like it's been watered down more than it has been.
Yeah.
Whereas like when you get high proof whiskies, especially ones that are high with tannins and like oil contents and stuff like that, you get this really concentrated flavor, like whiskey essence. Like it's got a thicker mouthfeel.
Yeah.
It's more of an experience. It's like a lot of time overwhelming when
like
you look
the
at rare breed, Bookers, stuff like that. Even things like Rowan Creek or the Maker's Mark Private Select, we can go for ages. Any of the Balcones stuff, they're really oily and cling on. They're really dense.
But they are also a whole lot more expensive.
A lot more expensive.
This was only $35 Australian.
Yeah.
So
I feel like that is something you definitely have to mention.
That probably equates to, I'd say, 15 US, maybe even below, if you can even get it over in the States.
I don't reckon you will be able to. I reckon Heaven Hill will be selling it under a different name and it'll be
40 at least, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoy the nose.
This is fine.
The taste is a little bit lackluster. It just drops off, disappears.
Getting like an immediate sweetness. Then it goes into the hay grass note. Then you get some of the corn notes, but it's like really old. It's like stale corn. It's like dusty.
Roll it around your mouth. It gets a little bit more.
I need some intensity.
Just roll it around your mouth. It kind of seems to cling a little bit more. It stays for a little bit longer.
It's a lot drier.
It's really pleasant. I actually don't mind
this. This is fine. It goes down very smoothly. This
good mixer.
It would not stand up to ice, I would say. But
ice would kill this. It would have no flavour.
But just for the sake of it, let's add some water.
Right, let me have another pour. I reckon this would be a great mixer.
Yeah, because it just tastes like generic bourbon, so you're not going to lose any of the really
all those sweet flavors,
unique notes.
Yeah,
it's better. The first sip is better. The rest is going to be watery, but it gained a little bit more intensity. Just the tiniest bit more density to flavor. I got more of like a, just a richer sweetness, kind of like a salted, brown sugary kind of sweetness to it. It's just a little bit more complex, not much, and the rest of this after it will not be very good. But the first push.
This just makes me appreciate whiskey more. It is what I was trying to allude to. So,
just whiskey in general, or
both cheap and expensive, because you can still buy a nice cheap whiskey.
Right. Yeah.
But then it makes you appreciate more expensive whiskey so much more.
Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah. So this is probably not something that's going to help anyone that doesn't live in Australia. But it's still an interesting fact about Australia and how bourbon can be distributed at different ABVs compared to their legal requirements in the countries that they're actually made in. So if you like this episode, leave us a like. If you want to see future episodes from us, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. Cheers.